that we should really consider on the roads. Now, on the 21st of November, it is the day commemorated as the World Day of Remembrance for Road Victims. Now, statistics put up the youth as at the peak of road carnage fatalities. Our very own Emmanuel Kutosi had a candid discussion on the state of road safety in the country, particularly focusing on the youth, with the Youth for Road Safety US trainer Alex Ayub, who also doubles up as the youth coordinator with the Kenya Red Cross. Let's delve in.
Well, good evening and welcome to our discussion tonight where we deliberate on matters road safety. Now, in 2020, when the COVID pandemic struck Kenya, around 3,192 lives were lost, coming to the current date at November 9th, as at November 9th specifically, 3,844 lives have been lost so far. It is a matter, if you were to compare in a layman's perspective, that there are so many casualties that have come about due to road carnages, even as compared to the pandemic, which means this may be a pandemic that has been here silently for a long time and taking a lot of our lives as Kenyans. Now, to deliberate on this matter and matters road safety, I'm joined by a vibrant young man, one who's very, very much enthusiastic about matters road safety. And without preempting so much, I'll allow him to introduce himself. Welcome, sir.
Oh, thank you so much. My name is Alex Ayub. I'm a road safety trainer. I'm a youth road safety trainer, and with the Youth for Road Safety organization. But I'm also lucky to be the National Youth Programs Coordinator for the Kenya Red Cross Society in the country. And with my background in law, I think the road safety space is quite an interesting area that I'm quite passionate about, and that's the work that I do on a day-to-day basis, youth and road safety.
Okay, and getting on to it, the 50% target of reducing road carnages in the country is yet to be achieved, according to the report rolled out today. In your overview, what is the state of road safety in the country currently?
Yeah, so the global plan for the decade of action by the United Nations and the WHO and other stakeholders is for the decade starting 2021 to 2030, is that we aim to reduce the 1.35 million deaths every year by half. And that basically means you're talking about 650,000 lives to be saved by 2030. Currently, I think we are not doing so good, because the first year of the decade being 2021, and Kenya already is increasing for the first time, is already indicating an increase in the number of deaths. We used to record, according to the national statistics, 3,000 deaths per year, and now for the first time we are hitting 3,900 deaths, and we are not yet done with the peak, which is usually the last month of the year, December. So for the first year we're not doing well, but and a couple of other factors are also are really contributing to this, honestly speaking. We are having a situation whereby there is increase of use of motorized transport, and a couple of things are happening. The infrastructure, for the first time, the country is opening up in terms of new roads being constructed. But the roads are being constructed without really proper capacity development for the road users to understand what this actually means. There are highways. As we speak today, there is a highway in Lodwar town in Turkana County. And the interesting thing is that most of these areas, people don't even know how to use these roads, and even what is the essence of a roundabout and all those things. So we're not doing so well, but we are positive that we could be able to hit that target globally if all the factors come to play as proposed in the global plan for the decade of action.
Yeah. Now, Bwana Ayub, our Kenyan roads have been termed as being quite unforgiving, as in a single mistake, maybe the final mistake you ever make.
Yeah.
Do you think this perception is true? And if so, what do you think can be done to alleviate this situation?
No, thank you so much. Well, yeah, basically the forgiving roads are basically those roads that allow people to do a mistake and still get a second chance to be able to correct that mistake in future engagements with that particular road. Most of the roads that are being constructed are not only unforgiving, but they're also not conducive for all road users. And the current state is that majority of the roads that were constructed, especially before the past 2 or 3 years, were actually not very forgiving. And two of the major indicators for forgiving road is when, one, there are rumbles on the side of the road, so that if you start veering off the road, you'll be alerted that you're moving away from the road and through those rumbles. And number two, there are usually those road barriers that once you're veered off the road, then it's able to probably stop you and probably keep you back on the road and avoid sort of rollovers. So that's not what we see on most of our roads. Well, in the urban setup, if you look at Nairobi, yes, you try and see those roads. But the moment you leave Nairobi and start going up country, most of those roads do not have those road barriers, and that is where the danger is. So we are not yet there. Are we doing anything about it? Yes, we are doing something about it. I think I'm seeing more, and the current Nairobi expressway that is coming up, you can see there's proper barriers that have been put. No longer the metallic ones that we're used to, that were not very forgiving or probably would be stolen or vandalized the next day. But we're seeing concrete sort of road barriers that are helping and supporting that. But then we're also seeing, if you look at most of these other roads that are coming up in the new era, yes, they are trying to get there, but we're not 100% there. Yeah.
And looking at the youth, like 10 years from now, there will be a new bracket of an age set or a group that will be termed the youth.
Yes.
As in, now as we are moving in such a direction,
yes,
do you think there is an importance of incorporating road safety in the school curriculum?
Yes. In fact, the basic answer to that is yes, there is a very big and a critical importance. And I'm among the people who take, for example, majority of Kenya is actually categorized as a very religious country, that 80% of its population actually subscribe to a particular religion. And the reason that is because most of the work that we see in religion starts when children are young, and they actually stick to it. Most of us actually, even at 50, at 80, will still say that they started religion when they are very young. So that means there is something about teaching a young child something that you want them to stay with for the rest of their life at that early age, and not when they have already matured. The mistake we do, the first time we interact with proper road safety in this country, is when somebody goes to a driving school. Is it possible to start having basics, the theories of even driving at secondary school level? Those are some of the discussions that we need to have. So yes, few years from today, there'll be another crop of young people. The children who are here today will be the young adults of then. But if we give them the right information in the proper way and expose them, like use of such facilities like the Children's Traffic Park, and also accessing them to, enabling them to access the right knowledge and proper road safety practice, there is hope in terms of road users. And then whatever is left is for the infrastructure and the vehicles on the other side.
And there is a speculation that there's a relationship between the age of road users and how they observe safety regulations on the road.
Yes.
Is this perception one that we can run with and consider, like there are some people, certain people who we are supposed to actually give more time or accommodate more and actually be tolerant with them on the roads?
Yes, there's a very big relation between the age and road safety. One of the major issues is that young people are actually majority of the population, and we are talking about today the leading killer for young people between 5 to 29 years of age is actually road traffic injuries. And there are three major factors that affect that actually make a young person more vulnerable. It's about the age, it's about the behavior, it's about the experience or lack of it that they have. The biologists will tell you that before the age of 25, the frontal cortex of a human being that is responsible for decision making is not fully developed. So then that means if you have a young person who's below 25 years of age on the road trying to make decisions, then we can say that of course biologically they might not be 100% to make the proper decisions. So yes, there is a very big correlation, but we are not saying that this is an excuse, because at the same time human beings have been known to learn, unlike other animals. So it means when we teach them when they're young, they can grow with these skills and they can actually be able to demystify some of this perspective. They are really good drivers, they're really good road users who are still below the age of 25. Majority of our universities have students who are below that age, and they're actually safe on the road. So it's just about practices, it's about teaching, it's about learning, it's about giving space for capacity building.
And looking at the current state in the country, a large group of cyclists are actually taking to the roads.
Yes.
And greater observation shows that it is the youth who are on the road as cyclists, probably due to challenges of fuel and otherwise. But what do you think can be done more? Because we may see like in the urban areas, there may be sections for them to be able to cycle through, but it's not something like is out there.
Yeah.
Could you preempt more on this? And as an organization that is looking at the youth and factors that are affecting them, what do you think can be done or should be done to at least save lives being lost by cyclists?
No, yeah, I think there are quite a lot of new crop of cyclists on the roads, and one of the things is, of course, it could be because of physical health, just being healthy. Number two, it could be in terms of the economic situation in the country, that most people are preferring means that did not involve paying for transport fees. But it's also, it could be that the direction the globe is taking, that we want to reduce carbon emissions, and then it means that if I have the option of using a bicycle, then I'll definitely go for that. Unfortunately, as a country, our roads have not been made. In fact, what we're calling the multimodal sort of transport and planning, that's not what we have on our roads. The roads have been made for cars. If you look at a very good model is the United Nations Avenue Road in Gigiri. It actually keeps in mind all the road users, and that is a very rare thing to see in most of this road. The other place I've seen is actually the anniversary way, just right in front of the University of Nairobi. It keeps the cyclist in mind. But the other perspective is to do a lot of targeted education and capacity building, because some of these things are actually new concepts to the African situation and to us as Africans. So educating the masses, educating the community to demand for better roads, to demand for roads that keep them in mind. Sometimes the authority responsible might not be able to keep this in mind, but when the community who is going to use that road tomorrow demands for better roads, then it will happen. And that's why it's a responsibility also for us as the users to also demand for better roads.
And we're looking on matters of sensitization. The boda sector has been termed one that flouts all rules with impunity.
Yeah.
This perception is there, but can we now like reach at a level where we say like this sector is doomed? Is there something that can be done? Is it lack of desensitization, lack of education that is leaving these boda riders as in flouting rules with impunity?
Yeah.
Is there anything that can be done or should be done?
No, I think there is still hope. Most of us always blame the boda riders unless only and except when you are using it. When we are using it, when we are being the pillion passengers, then we are okay. In fact, all the moves that they make. But the moment you are in a matatu or you're driving or you're walking, that's the time you actually look at them as a nuisance. The truth is, yes, if you look at the current training and the current schools, driving schools that are available, there is not so much focus on proper riding for boda operators. In fact, it's recently that the National Transport and Safety Authority partnered with the National Youth Service to actually roll out boda training across the country. So that actually shows you then that we have identified where the problem was. It's about training, it was about capacity, it was about education, it was about sensitization, but now something is being done. The other call is actually not the boda operators themselves, actually, that yes, they need to just put themselves in a position. We have the professional bikers who actually stand, they actually stop at a red light. They actually keep on their lanes. They actually overtake from the right side when it's right to overtake. They are not overlapping. So it means there is still an opportunity for the riders as well to actually tell themselves, look, we are the boda operators. I need myself alive tomorrow so that I can be able to provide for my family. And if I'm not going to be safe on the road, my child actually is going to be left uncatered for. My wife is going to be left as a widow, and I'm not able to take care of the other people that I look up to. So personal responsibility, but also the other authorities to do their own.
And well, in finalizing, looking at the youth, what would you tell the youth? What is their role in actualizing that they are safe on the roads?
Yeah, it goes back to I think there's a time our president said that security starts with every single Kenyan. So safety starts with every single Kenyan and every single youth in this country. Just ensuring that if you're going on the road as a pedestrian, then you know what is expected of you. You know the proper areas to cross the road. There are designated areas where we are supposed to cross the road and all. That's number one. Personal safety, making sure that you take care of yourself even as a passenger. But then the other area is that there's need for us to speak more and demand for better roads, to demand for roads that keep all the road users in mind. there's actually a space for us as young people today. And that's why the Global Youth Coalition for Road Safety that was actually established last year brings together the voices of young people to do three of many things. Number one, it is constantly building capacity of young people to actually understand what road safety is about. That road safety actually matters to you more than anything else. In fact, there is something quite interesting. Somebody says that RTIs, which are road traffic injuries, kill more than STIs, kill more young people than STIs. And the other thing is that we apart from building capacity, we are also supporting young people to advocate and lobby and actually speak in spaces where policies are being made that are influencing or are affecting the road designs and affecting the infrastructure that is coming to us. And lastly, we are also supporting young people to do local actions. So there are young people who are coming together. They say, I can do this thing. I'm a young person. I understand what road safety is about, but I can go to a school and start raising awareness. I can help the children around my home to cross the road better. So there are local actions that we're supporting them to be able to do that and reach further.
Yeah. Thank you so much, Ayub.
No, thank you for having
Quite an
me.
enlightening conversation there. Safety does begin with you, and well, it's up to you to ensure that you're safe on the roads and reduce the carnage that is currently being experienced in the country. Good night.